This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Two leaders of the Chilean student movement are in the United States this week, where they will be awarded the 2012 Letelier-Moffitt Human Rights Award. The prize is named for the Chilean diplomat Orlando Letelier and his colleague Ronni Karpen Moffitt, who were murdered in Washington by agents of the U.S.-backed Chilean dictator General Augusto Pinochet in September 1976. Over the past year, the Chilean students' movement has led some of the largest protests in Chile since the days of opposition marches to Pinochet a generation ago. The movement has rallied hundreds of thousands into the streets of Santiago and other major cities to demand greater access to affordable university education, as well as deeper structural changes in Chile. The country has the highest per capita income in the region, but also one of the most unequal distributions of wealth.
Joining us are Noam Titelman, the current president of the Catholic University Student Federation. He's one of the main leaders of the Chilean student protest, and he's a student in commercial engineering and Spanish literature at the Catholic University of Chile in Santiago. We are also joined by Camila Vallejo, Vice President of the University of Chile Student Federation from late 2010 through 2011. She was president of the organization and has been a main spokesperson for the National Student Federation, the Confederation of Chilean Students. Camila Vallejo is also a member of the Central Committee of the Chilean Communist Youth and a geography student at the University of Chile in Santiago. Her interpreter is Marcial Godoy, and we welcome you all to Democracy Now! Noam, let's begin with you. Talk about the significance of the movement and what is taking place now in Chile. In the United States, it is hard enough to get protests covered in the United States, let alone in Chile, no matter how significant they are.
Yes, I think the first thing to understand is that we have a very special educational system which was imposed during the 1980s during the Pinochet dictatorship, which has one basic principle, and it's that the market always works. And we've found out that obviously it's not that way always. And what we've seen is that, for example, while our public education is dying, we have only 36% of students going to public schools. Here in the States, it's almost 90%. It's really a very special example of how privatized can a state become. And all of this started accumulating a lot of problems, a lot of inequalities, and this exploded many occasions during the last decades. But during the 2011, it had a special massification of this issue, and we saw almost all of schools and universities of the country paralyzed for almost 6 months, over 1 million people in the streets. And we even saw some students willingly losing their academic year, many thousands of them. And all of this is obviously because something is not working with this extremely privatized educational system.
Camila Vallejo, can you talk about how it is that the movement was able to mobilize such large numbers of people?
¿Cómo fue que el movimiento fue capaz de movilizar números tan grandes de personas?
Bueno, primero creo importante señalar a propósito del premio que estamos recibiendo por parte de la Fundación Letelier-Moffitt, que es muy simbólico, dado que Orlando Letelier fue una de las primeras personas que advirtió las consecuencias que iba a tener la implementación del modelo neoliberal en Chile por medio de la dictadura militar.
First, I want to remark, in light of the Letelier-Moffitt Prize that we're receiving, that Orlando Letelier was one of the first to warn about what would come with the implementation of neoliberal policies during the dictatorship.
Él señalaba que por medio de la fuerza en Chile no solamente se iba a instaurar una economía de libre mercado, sino que una sociedad de libre mercado, y que este iba a tocar incluso lo que antes era considerado derechos básicos como la salud, la educación o el seguro social.
He warned that through violence in Chile there would not only be a sort of a market society put in place, but actually that all many things that were previously considered basic rights would be turned into a neoliberal goods.
And Orlando Letelier was the former Chilean ambassador to the United States who was blown up in a car bomb on Embassy Row in Washington, D.C. in 1976.
Right.
y que eso iba a terminar haciendo que las familias no solamente tuvieran que pagar por los servicios básicos, sino que incluso por los derechos, a tal punto que ante la desigualdad que existe en Chile iban a tener que endeudarse para acceder a eso. Eso ha terminado en un profundo malestar de la sociedad que desembocó esta movilización a través de la educación.
And that these circumstances would end in the privatization of basic rights and of basic goods, and that families would have to become indebted to procure these basic things, and that's what led really in Chile to these massive protests.
Camila Vallejo and Noam Titelman, we have to end it there, but we'll continue in a post-show discussion and post it online at democracynow.org. That does it for our broadcast. If you'd like a copy of today's show, you can go to our website, democracynow.org. Again, we'll be at Hofstra University broadcasting the debate tonight. You can go to our website at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning, a special 2-hour broadcast, including third-party voices in the debate. Democracy Now! Produced by Mike Berger, Nate Felser, Martina Chase.